Hey, this is Lyle Johnson here. I was sitting down playing after just teaching a thing of lessons at the store I teach at, and I kind of thought it might be cool to put up this video because I realized that this is a really common question. I get asked this a lot. It's how do you make it sound like you're playing through changes? How can you hear the changes in your solo, even if there's like no accompaniment, like at all the harmonies there, at one line. And I thought this was something that really boggled my mind when I first started playing. This used to just tear me up, keep me up at night. Um, and so I don't want to get too far into this because I think this is where everybody's going to go click and turn off this video. But a little bit of theory might help. So let me run it down really quick. If you take the first note and third note and fifth note of every scale, you're going to get a major, or of the major scale, you're going to get a major triad, right? And if you do it for all 12, then you can get all 12 of your major triads, and this will really help and to kind of keep you, aware of what it is I'm talking about when I start talking notes. And so for like the key of C, right? You have C, that's 1, so that's the one you need. C, D is 2, E is 3, that's the other one we need. And then E, and then F is 4, and then G is 5. So C, E, and G. That would make our major triad, right, for our C chord. Like if you were to play a C chord on the guitar, anywhere, any one of those shapes that you know, those are all just going to be C's, E's, and G's. And that gets you your triad, and those are the ones that we're going to harmonize against. The other thing to know is to go ahead and if you were to write it all out, write out all your scales and try and get all your triads out of that, and then just memorize them. Then you have your whole triad sort of vocabulary book right in the back of your head. And it goes C, E, G, right? If we do them order in fifths, then we know we're getting them all because G is the fifth of C, thus I'm going to start on G for my next one. So it goes C, E, G, G, B, D, D, F sharp, A, C sharp, E, G sharp, B, D sharp, F sharp. F sharp and G flat are the same notes, so I'm just going to start on G flat, B flat, D flat, F, A flat, C, E flat, G, B flat, D, F, and F, A, C. And C, E, G, that would be the next one, right? So that's all 12 of them. I don't have a paper out in front of me. I know them, and it's not something you got to spend the rest of your life memorizing. It's probably 20 minutes really grueling, memorizing. That's about it, and then it's all there for you. And then just memorize the rules, and then conform the rules against that. So for a major triad, it's just 1, 3, 5. If it's minor, it's 1 flat 3 5. If it's diminished, it's 1 flat 3 flat 5, and augmented is 1 3 and sharp 5. And just conform them. So for a C, if I want a C minor chord, C, E, G is major. So flat 3 gives you minor. It's C, E flat, G, and then you have a C minor chord. Ta-da! All your triads. Super cool. So then, if you were to do that, getting away from all that is we're gonna try and get the chords going on the guitar for a 2/5, right? Because 2/5 is most common if you're playing through changes, or even if you're playing blues with substitutions in them, you get a lot of 2/5s. So 2/5, 2/5-1 in the key of C would be 2 would be D minor, and then G7 would be the 5, and then 1 would be C major 7. And then what we would do is we would try and locate as many of those as we can. So if you should watch this video. It's a really good video Don Mock put together called From Blues, or From Rock to Jazz, or From Blues to Jazz, or something like that. Don Mock, look that up. It's a really good video. I think there are clips of it on YouTube. Maybe you can get a hold of it. he was put it really well for me. It was that your chord shapes are always going to be a direct reflection of your soloing. So in other words, if I'm going to grab this chord shape, I'm going to play my solo around this area, right? Because it's all arpeggios, it's all the notes of the chord, right? And if I'm going to play G7, say here, and then C, right here. Actually, I played an A there. I keep playing A. I'm so used to A minor and C being the same chord. But anyways, so then that's it. That's what you need to know. Isn't that great? The other thing too is that if you don't even want to memorize the theory, if you just want to go, okay, well, if I know that the third is going to be such a defining note for my chord, like that's the one I want to hit when I want to say I'm at this chord, then just know which one is the third in the shape. If you just want to go with shapes and not have to memorize notes, right? So every time I grab a shape, I know that D minor is right here. This one, this is the third. The other third would be right here. Oops. See? And then the third in this shape would be with my middle finger. That's a B note. That's your 4th fret of your G string. The first one was the 6th fret of your B string. This is 4th of G string. And this is the 5th fret of my B string. So, like I said, you gotta play this. Actually, I haven't said this yet. If you play this in time, is really what's gonna bring it out. So if I play this on the downbeat of where the chord is supposed to take place, so it's very easy to just go, oh, I forget it. I know he's playing a bunch of major scale stuff. That's what I'm gonna play. Since he's just playing chords out of the major scale, I'm just gonna play major scale and ignore whatever chords he's playing, and that's fine. Sometimes you just wanna blow chunks in C major, just go nuts, and that's fine. But it's kind of cool to kind of go back and forth, where you're just going key center, and then you're just making the changes, and that really kind of expresses some. When you're in it and you're really comfortable with that, you get very this sort of sense of freedom. You can kind of make the phrases you want to make, and it's the more we know, the better. So in time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 in different octaves, and you can kind of hear them. You hear the changes. I mean, I'm not doing anything really fancy right now. I'm just hitting thirds. What you can do too is, if you notice, if you take the third of one chord and then play the 7th of that chord as well, it's the half step above the third of the next chord. So 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and then this is a G right now, right? Now I'm going to play F because it's the 5th, or I'm sorry, the 7th of that chord, and then 1. This is 1. This is C major, and this is the 3rd of that chord. So the lick will go like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and in those times of you holding out the chords, run some 8th notes that are going to acknowledge the chord. All I'm doing is going around the chord shapes. And then so you're playing them in time, right? Hopefully. uh, and I think the other thing to do too is try and get obviously more chord shapes the better. So I mean, here's a good set right here. Right, try them in all the different chord shapes, like the areas in the neck, really, and it kind of comes out to as simple as you can make it, you know, for right now, especially when you're just trying to find the chord shape that you're going to get around. Of course, there are cool chords out there, really cool versions of a chord. Here's a good D minor. Here's one that you don't hear very often, but it's just D minor as plain as you can get it. Right. Let's see, another D minor. Oh, sorry. A similar one. G7 flat 9, the natural 13, C major 7th. So I mean, you know, that's besides the point, though. I mean, they're all off of the basic shapes, right? So what you would do is, you know, okay, I need a D minor right here, and so that's going to be here. G7 right here would be something like that, and then C major 7th. You know, if you want it outside of just the good old-fashioned C major 7th that everybody knows. D minor over here. G7th would be then C major, then D minor, C7 or G7, C major, D minor, and then G7, and then C major. And then D minor over here would look like this. And then G7. And then C major. And then you try and solo through those, right? You'd always do it in time. And that's kind of what's really going to make sense. You know, everything, you got to have a good time to have good music, right? Everything's got to come where the ear expects it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Right here, 3, 4. And over here, and over here. And over here. Whether those are grade 2/5s or not, you know, I mean, you kind of get the ideas. I'm just playing around the chord shapes that I know, that I've figured out for myself, and hopefully it's kind of in the, you know, all areas of the neck. So I have one here.